I never thought I would be that husband who discovers his wife's betrayal through an anonymous email. You know the type, they appear on Reddit forums seeking advice, their stories making you think, thank God that is not me. Yet there I was, staring at my laptop screen on a Tuesday afternoon, reading words from a stranger that would shatter the foundation of my 12-year marriage. Your wife is cheating with my wife. It read, the support group is not what you think. Sitting in our kitchen, the one we had remodeled together last spring, I felt my world collapse. What came next, however, would transform me from a victim of deception into something else entirely. And the anniversary gift I crafted would become legendary in our circle, though not in the way Jessica had ever anticipated. Jessica started her Thursday night women's support group in January. Winter in Boston is harsh, dark by 4:30. Sidewalks treacherous with ice, and people desperate for connection. When she first mentioned it over dinner, I was genuinely supportive. That sounds wonderful, I said, refilling her wine glass. Is it through the community center? Not exactly, she replied, twirling pasta around her fork. Karen from my office organized it. Just women supporting women through life's challenges, you know? I nodded, thinking of how Jessica had struggled after her mother's passing last year. I think it will be good for you. Everyone needs a space to share things they might not want to burden their partners with. She looked at me strangely, then a fleeting expression I would later recognize as guilt before smiling. Exactly, you always understand. And I did understand. I understood the value of emotional support beyond what a spouse could provide. I understood the need for privacy and independence within a relationship. What I did not understand was why my wife needed to lie. The first few months followed a pattern. Every Thursday, Jessica would return home around 11, cheeks flushed, eyes bright, smelling faintly of wine and expensive perfume that was not her own. She seemed happier, more energetic, and our relationship benefited from her improved mood. We even began having sex more frequently, always on Thursday nights when she returned, which I naively attribute to her feeling emotionally unburdened after group discussions. The meetings really help, she would say, curling against me afterward. It is amazing how much lighter I feel. I was happy for her. Genuinely happy. I even started making special Thursday dinners that could be easily reheated when she returned: butternut squash risotto, her favorite chicken marsala, homemade bread. I would leave little notes: hope your meeting was wonderful. Dinner in the fridge. Love you. Looking back, I wonder if those notes made her feel anything at all. In April, 3 months into the support group routine, small changes began to appear. Jessica started getting highlights in her hair, subtle at first, then progressively bolder. Her wardrobe evolved from comfortable professional attire to more fashionable pieces. She began working out more intensely, losing the 15 pounds she had gained after her mother died. You look amazing, I told her one morning as she dressed for work, admiring how her new skirt hugged her hips. Thanks. She smiled into the mirror, not meeting my eyes. Karen says the group has been good for everyone's self-esteem. We are all investing in ourselves more. I kissed her shoulder. Well, I have always thought you were beautiful, but I am happy you are feeling good about yourself again. She pulled away slightly. I have a long day ahead. Mind starting the coffee? I did not mind. I never minded doing things for Jessica. We had been together since college, meeting sophomore year in a literature class where we were the only two who defended A.Z. Buchanan's character in The Great Gatsby. 15 years together, 12 of them married. I thought I knew everything about her: how she could not sleep if her feet were cold, how she laughed too loudly at comedies, how she organized the spice rack alphabetically but always left turmeric out because she used it daily in her morning eggs. But by May, Jessica had become someone I did not fully recognize. Our conversations grew shorter, her texts less frequent. She changed her phone password, though I only discovered this when I tried to order food delivery while my phone was charging. When I asked about it casually, she became defensive. Do you not trust me now? She asked, eyes narrowing. Of course I trust you, I replied, confused by her reaction. I just needed to order dinner and my phone was dead. You could have waited. She snapped, then immediately softened. Sorry, work has been stressful. The Henderson account is a nightmare. I nodded, accepting the explanation, though something felt off. That night, I heard her laughing in the bathroom, the shower running. When I walked in to brush my teeth, she quickly ended her call. Who was that? I asked. Karen, she said too quickly. Support group staff. By June, Thursday nights had expanded. What once ended at 11 now stretched past midnight. Twice, she did not come home until after 2 in the morning, claiming the discussions had been particularly intense and the women had lost track of time. My special Thursday dinners went unison more often than not. Did you not like the COQ oven? I asked one Friday morning, noticing the untouched container in the refrigerator. Oh, we ended up getting food together after the meeting, she said, not looking up from her phone. I forgot to text you. Sorry. The apology felt hollow, but I swallowed my disappointment. No problem. I will finish it for lunch today. My friends noticed the changes before I allowed myself to. My closest friend, Marcus, pointed it out during our monthly poker game. Everything okay with you and Jess? He asked as the others stepped outside to smoke. You seem, I do not know, tense when you mention her. We are fine, I said automatically. She's just busy with work and her women's group. Marcus raised an eyebrow. Every Thursday, right? Amy mentioned seeing Jessica and some women at Neuer last week, said they were getting pretty cozy with a group of guys at the bar. My stomach tightened. It was probably just a coincidence. There are lots of groups at bars on Thursday nights. Probably. Marcus agreed, but his expression remained concerned. Just keep your eyes open, okay? I dismissed his concern outwardly but could not shake it from my mind. That night, I lay awake beside Jessica, watching her sleep. Her face, relaxed in slumber, was the same one I had fallen in love with years ago. I traced her features with my eyes, wondering what secrets lived behind them now. The next Thursday, I considered following her. The thought made me sick, the idea of becoming the suspicious husband trailing his wife through the city. Instead, I asked directly over breakfast, "Where does your support group meet?" I kept my tone casual, spreading jam on my toast. Jessica paused, coffee mug halfway to her lips. Why? Just curious. You have been going for months, and I realized I do not even know where you meet. We rotate, she said after a moment. Different members' houses. Tonight is at Karen's. Maybe I could drop you off? We could get dinner first. Make a date night of it. Her expression heightened. That defeats the purpose of having separate space, Daniel. Besides, Karen lives in Cambridge. It is completely out of your way. I nodded, accepting the rebuff. Later that day, however, I looked up Karen from Jessica's office. Karen Miller, marketing coordinator. According to her social media profiles, very public and unrestricted, she lived in Jamaica Plain, not Cambridge. The first concrete lie. That night when Jessica left for her meeting, I noticed she was wearing her most expensive perfume and a new dress I had never seen. Her overnight bag contained makeup, a change of clothes, and her special occasion lingerie, the kind she only wore on our anniversaries or Valentine's Day. I stood in our bedroom holding the black lace in my hands and felt something break inside me. The email arrived exactly 6 months after Jessica's first support group meeting. It came from an address I did not recognize. The subject line read simply about your wife. I almost deleted it, assuming it was spam. Something made me open it. Mr. Reynolds, you do not know me, but our wives know each other very well. Your wife, Jessica, and Eden tried herself out and as a fool, is cheating with my wife, Elaine. The support group that meets on Thursdays is actually a secret dating club for married women. They call themselves the Thursday Night Freedom Collective. They meet at various hotels and restaurants around Boston. Many of them are having affairs. I discovered this last week when I found hotel receipts and explicit messages on my wife's phone. When I confronted her, she confessed everything. She showed me their private Facebook group where they share stories, advice on hiding their activities, and pictures. Your wife is very active in this group. I'm sorry to be the one to tell you this, but I believe you deserve to know, just as I deserve to know. What you do with this information is your choice. If you want proof, try joining their Facebook group TNF Collective with a fake female profile. They are not very careful about verifying new members. A fellow betrayed husband. I read the email 7 times, each reading making me more nauseous than the last. My hands shook so badly I had to put the laptop down on the kitchen counter. This could not be real. There had to be a mistake. Or perhaps this was someone's cruel joke, a disgruntled coworker, or an internet troll. But the details were too specific. The Thursday night meetings, the recent behavior changes, the lies about locations, the overnight bag with lingerie. I called in sick to work that day, something I had done only twice in 5 years, and sat at our kitchen table, staring at nothing. By noon, I had convinced myself that I needed proof before confronting Jessica. The email could be malicious, designed to create exactly this kind of doubt and pain. Creating a fake Facebook profile took less time than I expected. I became Emma Orrance, a 38-year-old dental hygienist from Somerville, with an unseen husband and a penchant for yoga, according to my hastily constructed biography. I used stock photos and filled out just enough details to appear legitimate. Finding the group was easy. TNF Collective appeared in the search results immediately. Its cover photo showed a sunset with the words Thursday Night's Freedom elegantly scripted across it. I requested to join, answering the 3 screening questions. Within an hour, I was accepted. I felt like a spy behind enemy lines as I scrolled through the group's content, my heart pounding so loudly I could hear it in my ears. The group had 67 members, all women, many from the Boston area. Their posts ranged from innocent-seeming check-ins, can't wait for Thursday, to explicitly detailed accounts of their extramarital activities. Some used code names for their lovers, others were brazenly open. Photos showed groups of women at bars, restaurants, and hotel lobbies, always smiling, always dressed to impress. And there was Jessica, my Jessica, in dozens of photos laughing with wine glasses raised, her arm around various women I had never met. In one particularly painful image from 3 weeks ago, she sat on a hotel bed, champagne flute in hand, caption pre-game at the Fairmont before meeting our special friends. Hubby thinks I am sharing feelings in a circle right now. The comments below were worse. A girl, you deserve this fun after putting up with boring Daniel for so long. Does he still make you those sad little dinners for when you get home? My husband is the same. So clueless. Thursday night freedom. And Jessica's response. Hubby has no idea. 12 years of marriage and he still believes everything I tell him. Sometimes I feel a little bad, but then I remember how alive I feel on Thursdays and it's worth it. I printed that post, and another, each one a dagger. The group had rules pinned at the top of the page. I found Jessica's first post from January, first time here. So nervous but excited to reclaim my Thursday nights for me. Husband thinks I'm at a support group for grief and women's issues. If only he knew. 60 for likes, 23 comments welcoming her to freedom. I discovered that the support group had started as an actual support group 2 years ago, but had evolved or devolved into this secret society for women seeking excitement outside their marriages. Some members seemed to be there just for the social aspect and drinking. Others were actively pursuing affairs, and some, like Jessica, were already involved with specific affair partners. I found posts about her affair partner, someone named Jay, who was described as tall, artistic, and deliciously attentive. In one post from April, Jessica wrote, Jane knows exactly what to say, exactly where to touch, exactly how to make me feel like the goddess my husband forgot I am. I've omitted in our kitchen sink after reading that one. By evening, I had compiled a devastating portfolio of evidence. Jessica had been living a complete double life for 6 months, mocking our marriage, mocking me, sharing intimate details of our relationship for the entertainment of strangers. I sat in our darkened living room, waiting for her to return from her support group, the folder of printed evidence on the coffee table beside me. I had not eaten all day, had not cried yet, though I knew the tears would come eventually. Instead, I felt a cold, clear fury crystallizing inside me, not the hot rage of immediate betrayal, but something more dangerous, more calculated. When headlights swept across our front window at 11:47, I made a decision. I would not confront her tonight. I would not give her the satisfaction of seeing me broken. Instead, I would do something much worse. I would watch her lie to my face, knowing exactly what she had been doing. Hi honey, she called, entering the house. Still up? Just finishing some work. I replied, my laptop open to an actual work document I had not looked at all day. How was the support group? Jessica put down her overnight bag and kicked off her heels. She smelled of unfamiliar cologne. Really good. Linda is going through a tough divorce, so we spent a lot of time supporting her. I nodded, not trusting myself to speak further. You okay? She asked, frowning slightly. You look pale. Just tired, I managed. Long day. She came over and kissed the top of my head, a casual, meaningless gesture that would have comforted me yesterday, but now made my skin crawl. Do not stay up too late. I am going to shower. Of course, I said. Love you. She paused just for a second before replying, love you too. As the shower ran, I slipped the printed pages back into my desk drawer and made a new plan. Our anniversary was coming up in 3 weeks. 12 years of marriage deserved a special gift, and I knew exactly what I would give her. The next 3 weeks were the strangest of my life. I lived with Jessica as if nothing had changed, all while collecting more evidence from the Facebook group, which I checked obsessively. I learned to school my features into pleasant neutrality when she lied about her Thursday activities. I forced myself to eat the dinners she cooked, to laugh at her jokes, to kiss her good morning and good night. Meanwhile, I was making arrangements. First, I consulted a divorce attorney, Caroline Jeffers, reputed to be the most ruthless family lawyer in Massachusetts. In our initial consultation, I laid out everything I had discovered. This is comprehensive, Caroline said, flipping through the printed Facebook posts. Most clients come to me with suspicions. You have brought me a complete case. Will it help with the divorce? I asked. Massachusetts is a no-fault divorce state, so infidelity does not automatically entitle you to more in the settlement, she explained. However, if she's been spending significant marital assets on these activities, hotels, gifts for affair partners, expensive clothing, we can potentially use that. More importantly, this level of deception might work in your favor if you can demonstrate she has been untruthful about other financial matters. I nodded, taking notes. What else should I be documenting? Caroline leaned forward. Bank statements, credit card bills, match them to the dates of these Thursday activities. And Daniel, she added, her voice softening slightly, prepare yourself emotionally. This will get uglier before it is over. I laughed. Hollow lie. I'm already living in an ugly reality. I just want the truth to come out. My next step was more practical. I changed the beneficiary on my life insurance policy from Jessica to my sister. I moved half of our savings into an individual account, perfectly legal, before divorce proceedings began, Caroline assured me. I made copies of all important documents and stored them at Marcus's house. Marcus was the only person I told about Jessica's betrayal. His reaction shifted from disbelief to rage to sorrow in the space of one evening. I never would have thought she could do this, he said as we sat in his garage, away from his wife and children. 12 years, man. That is. I do not even have words. Neither did I, at first, I replied, sipping the whiskey he had poured me. Now I have too many words. None of them good. He placed a hand on my shoulder. What can I do? Just keep this between us for now. I have a plan. The plan was taking shape, centered around our upcoming anniversary. Traditionally, the 12th anniversary gift is silk or linen. I had something different in mind. Meanwhile, I continued monitoring the Facebook group. The Thursday after I discovered the truth, Jessica posted a selfie from a hotel bathroom, captioned, "When he thinks you are discussing female empowerment, but you are actually about to be very, very empowered by someone else's husband." Thursday night freedom. The comments were a chorus of encouragement and similar stories. I saved them all. That night when she returned home, I asked innocently, "How was the meeting? Anything interesting happen?" "Not really," she yawned, setting down her overnight bag. "Just the usual. I mostly talked about work-life balance tonight." "That sounds useful," I said, amazed at how easily the words came. "You seem tired. I will make you some tea. You are the best." She smiled, kissing my cheek. No, I thought, I am the biggest fool who ever lived, but not for much longer. 2 weeks before our anniversary, a complication arose. Jessica mentioned over dinner that she had planned a special surprise weekend for our anniversary. "I have booked us a cabin in Vermont," she said, looking genuinely excited. 3 days. Just us. No phones, no interruptions. For a moment, I faltered. Was there still something real in our marriage? Could she be compartmentalizing so completely that she still loved me despite her betrayal? Then I remembered her words on Facebook. "Hubby has no idea," and my resolve hardened. "That sounds wonderful," I lied. "I cannot wait." The following Thursday brought a new twist. Jessica did not go to her usual meeting. Instead, she announced she was having dinner with Karen to discuss a work project. "On Thursday?" I asked, unable to hide my surprise. She looked momentarily flustered. "Yes, the deadline got moved up. We need to strategize." I nodded, but something felt off. Later that evening, I checked the Facebook group and found my answer. A new post from the group administrator warned security alert. One of our members' husbands discovered our group. Elaine's husband found her phone unlocked and saw everything. She has left the group for now. We are not meeting at the usual place at night as a precaution. Check your private messages for alternate arrangements. And change your passwords, ladies. So they were being cautious now. The warning gave me a strange sense of satisfaction. Their perfect deception was showing cracks. But it also meant I needed to be more careful. If Jessica discovered my fake profile, my entire plan would collapse. I continued gathering evidence while maintaining my facade of ignorance. Each day was an exercise in acting, smiling through dinner conversations, asking about her day, pretending I did not know she was messaging her affair partner while sitting next to me on the couch. One night, she left her laptop open while taking a shower, fighting against my better judgment. I looked at her open browser. Her email was visible, and at the top was a message with the subject line "Thursday Plan B location." I did not open it. That would leave a digital trace, but noted the sender. The real Karen was indeed involved. I wondered how many of Jessica's co-workers knew about her double life while I remained the oblivious husband. 10 days before our anniversary, I began assembling my gift. I purchased an expensive leather-bound scrapbook with our initials embossed on the cover. Inside, I chronologically arranged printed screenshots of Jessica's Facebook posts, starting with her excited first message about joining the group and ending with her most recent updates. Each page was carefully annotated with the date and time, alongside photos from the Thursday outings where she appeared. On some pages, I included my own activities from those same evenings, a photo of the special dinner I had prepared, waiting in the refrigerator, a picture of me falling asleep on the couch while waiting for her to come home, a screenshot of my concerned text asking if she was okay when she was unusually late. The juxtaposition was heartbreaking and infuriating. For the final pages, I included bank statements highlighting the hotel charges, restaurant bills, and clothing purchases that corresponded with her Thursday activities. I calculated the total $7,824.36 spent on her affair over 6 months. The last page contained only one item, a business card for Caroline Jeffers, divorce attorney. The scrapbook complete, I wrapped it in silver anniversary paper and added a card that read simply, to 12 years of marriage. Now I know how you really spent your Thursday nights. Happy anniversary. As the day approached, Jessica became increasingly affectionate, perhaps driven by guilt, perhaps by some genuine feeling. She brought me coffee in bed, suggested we watch my favorite movies, initiated sex twice in 1 week. Each gesture felt like another twist of the knife. I am really looking forward to our weekend, she said 3 days before our anniversary. I think we need this time to reconnect. I could not agree more, I replied, thinking of the scrapbook hidden in my desk drawer. It is time for complete honesty between us. She smiled, kissing me deeply. Exactly. No more barriers. No more lies. I thought. At least not from me. The night before our anniversary, I barely slept. Jessica curled against me, her breathing deepened even, while my mind raced through all possible scenarios for the next day. Would she cry? Rage? Try to deny everything despite the evidence? Leave immediately? Attack me? I prepared for all possibilities. In the morning, I woke before her and went downstairs to make coffee. Today was the day everything would change. Our anniversary, 12 years of what I had thought was partnership, love, and trust, revealed now as something hollow at its core. When Jessica came downstairs, hair tousled from sleep, wearing the MIT t-shirt she had stolen from me years ago, I almost lost my nerve. For a moment, I saw the woman I had fallen in love with, not the stranger who had been deceiving me for months. Happy anniversary, she said, wrapping her arms around me from behind as I stood at the counter. I turned to face her. Happy anniversary. We exchanged gifts after breakfast. Jessica went first, handing me a small wrapped box. Inside was an expensive watch one I had admired months ago when we walked past a jewelry store. Turn it over, she said, eyes bright with anticipation. Engraved on the back were the words, to my husband, time has only made my love stronger. Forever yours, Jay. The irony was physically painful. I managed to smile, to thank her, to put the watch on my wrist where it felt like it weighed 100 pounds. Your turn, I said, sliding the silver-wrapped package across the table. It is beautiful, she said, admiring the wrapping. What is it? Something special, I replied. A record of our past year together, she smiled, tearing into the paper eagerly. When the scrapbook emerged, her expression was one of delight. Oh, Daniel, did you make this yourself? It is gorgeous. Open it, I said quietly. She opened to the first page, where I had placed her initial Facebook post about joining the Thursday Night Freedom Collective. Her smile froze, then slowly faded as comprehension dawned. She turned to the second page, then the third, her face draining of color. What is this? She whispered, though she knew exactly what it was. Keep going, I said, my voice steady. There is a lot to see. Jessica flipped through the pages with increasing agitation, her post mocking me, her descriptions of her affair, the photos of her in hotels and bars, all alongside my annotations showing what I had been doing while she was betraying me. When she reached the financial summary, she closed her eyes briefly. When she opened them, tears had formed. How did you find this? She finally asked, her voice small. Does it matter? I replied. Everything in that book came from you. Jessica, your words, your actions, your choices. She stared at the scrapbook, hands trembling. I can explain. Can you? I interrupted. Can you explain posting? Hubby has no idea. For your friends to laugh at? Can you explain mocking the dinners I made for you? Can you explain spending nearly $8,000 of our money on hotel rooms where you cheated on me? She flinched at each question, tears now flowing freely. It was not what it seems. It is exactly what it seems, I said, my calm finally breaking. A systematic betrayal. 6 months of lies. 12 years of marriage treated like a joke for your Thursday night friends. Jessica closed the scrapbook, pushing it away as if it were toxic. I never meant to hurt you. That is the biggest lie of all. I replied. You knew exactly what you were doing. You just never expected to get caught. She reached for my hand across the table. I pulled away. Daniel, please. We can work through this. It was stupid and wrong, but it does not have to end our marriage. I still love you. Love? I echoed, the word bitter in my mouth. Is that what you call it? Because from where I sit, it looks like contempt. It was not about you, she insisted. It was about me feeling alive again after Mom died. I was depressed, lost. So you decided to destroy our marriage instead of asking for help? I stood up, unable to stay seated any longer. I would have done anything to help you through your grief. Anything except this. Jessica stood too, wiping her ears with the back of her hand. What do you want from me? To grovel? To beg? I will do it. I will do whatever it takes. I want you to look at the last page, I said quietly. She turned to the final page and saw Caroline's business card. Her expression crumpled. You are divorcing me? Just like that? 12 years thrown away? You threw them away, I corrected her. Thursday night by Thursday night. Post by post. Lie by lie. Daniel, please. She was sobbing now, moving toward me. We can fix this. We can go to counseling. I will never see any of those people again. I will delete my accounts. Please do not do this. For a moment, just a moment, I wavered. The sight of her distress still affected me, despite everything. Then I remembered the posts, the laughter at my expense, the calculated deception. I have already filed the preliminary paperwork, I said. Caroline will contact you next week with the details. You cannot be serious. Jessica whispered. Our whole life together was apparently not what I thought it was. I finished for her. Pack what you need for now. I would prefer you not stay here. This is my house too, she protested, anger finally breaking through her ears. Yes, and we will address that in the divorce, I replied. But tonight, one of us needs to leave. And it is not going to be me. Jessica stared at me, searching my face for any sign of relenting. Finding none, she slumped against the wall. Where am I supposed to go? Perhaps Karen has room, I suggested coldly. Or maybe one of your Thursday night friends will take you in. You all seem very supportive of each other. She flinched. That is cruel. Cruel? I laughed without humor. Cruel is making your spouse the butt of jokes for months. Cruel is betraying the person who loved and trusted you completely. Jessica looked down at the scrapbook, then back at me. Can I at least explain why? Explain why? No, I cut her off. There is nothing you can say that will make this better. Nothing that will undo what you have done. She nodded slowly, defeated. Well, you at least. Will you tell me if you think you will ever forgive me someday? I considered the question seriously. I do not know. Right now, I cannot imagine it. Jessica gathered her purse and phone. I will go to my parents for now. I will come back for more of my things when you are not here. Fine, I said. Text me when you plan to come. I will make sure to be gone. At the door, she paused. I really did love you, Daniel. Still do. It was never about not loving you. Save it for your next Facebook post, I replied. I'm sure the group will find it entertaining. After she left, I sat alone at our kitchen table, the scrapbook open before me, and finally allowed myself to cry for the marriage I thought I had, for the future we had planned, for the love I had believed in completely. 3 weeks passed. Jessica stayed at her parents' suburban home, occasionally texting to ask if she could retrieve more of her belongings. Our communication was minimal and strictly practical. She had tried calling several times in the first few days, but I let the calls go to voicemail. Her messages alternated between tearful apologies and angry defenses, neither of which I was ready to hear. Word spread quickly among our friends. Most were shocked. A few admitted they had suspected something was wrong but had not known what. Marcus and his wife Amy became my strongest supporters, bringing meals, checking in daily, and providing the emotional outlet I desperately needed. Have you heard from her today? Marcus asked one evening as we sat on my back deck, beers in hand. She wants to meet and talk, I said, staring at the garden Jessica had planted last summer. The tomatoes were ripening without her. Says she has important things to explain. Are you going to? I shrugged. Eventually we will have to talk, if only to finalize the divorce. But not yet. Take all the time you need, he advised. There is no playbook for this, but there is something I needed to do, something that had been nagging at me since discovering Jessica's betrayal. The anonymous email that had started everything. I wanted to thank the sender, to find out more about how he had discovered the truth. I replied to the email address. Thank you for letting me know about my wife's activities. Your information was accurate. I have confronted her and begun divorce proceedings. If you are willing, I would like to meet and talk. There is still much I do not understand about this Thursday night freedom group. 2 days later, I received a response. I'm glad you found the information useful, though sorry for the pain it must have caused. I would be willing to meet. Elaine and I are also separating. Perhaps we can help each other make sense of this mess. We arranged to meet at a coffee shop in Cambridge, far from our respective neighborhoods. I arrived early, ordering a black coffee and claiming a corner table with a view of the door. At exactly noon, a man about my age entered, tall with graying temples and tired eyes. He scanned the room, and I raised my hand slightly. "Daniel?" he asked, approaching my table. "Yes. You must be." "Michael," he supplied, extending his hand. "Michael Kiernan." We shook hands, sizing each other up to men united by betrayal. "Thank you for coming," I said as he sat down, "and for the email. Though I still do not know why you reached out to me specifically." Michael sighed, wrapping his hands around his coffee mug. "When I discovered what Elaine was doing, I was destroyed. We've been married 14 years, have 2 children. I never suspected anything until I borrowed her iPad to watch Netflix and notifications from this Facebook group kept appearing." I nodded, familiar with the sickening moment of discovery. "Once I saw what was happening," he continued, "I confronted her immediately. She broke down, admitted everything, said it started as just drinks with friends, but evolved into something else entirely." "But why contact me?" I pressed. Michael's expression darkened. "When Elaine realized I had seen everything, she tried to minimize her involvement. Said she had only gone along with it because of peer pressure, that she had never actually cheated. But I had seen the messages, Daniel. I knew she was lying. I am still not following." In her panic to prove she was not as bad as the others, she showed me conversations where they discussed their affairs. Your wife's name came up repeatedly. She was apparently one of the ringleaders, one of the most enthusiastic participants. I flinched, the wound still raw. "I am sorry," Michael said, noticing my reaction. "But Elaine specifically mentioned that your wife's affair partner was my wife's brother, Jason. That is why I contacted you. Our situations were directly connected." The revelation hit me like a physical blow. "Her affair partner is your brother-in-law?" Michael nodded grimly. "Jason is an artist. Lives in Southend, never married. Apparently, he met your wife and several others at a gallery opening in January. That is how this whole thing started for our wives." Pieces clicked into place: Jessica's sudden interest in local art exhibitions, the mentions of Jay being artistic, her new contemporary art books. "Have you confronted him?" I asked. "I tried. He refused to speak to me. Said it was between consenting adults. And none of my business." Michael's jaw tightened, as if destroying 2 marriages was irrelevant. We sat in silence for a moment, absorbing our shared reality. "What happens now?" I finally asked. "With your divorce, I mean. It is complicated. We have the kids to consider. Elaine is begging for another chance. Swears she's ended things with her affair partner, not Jason, someone else. Says the Thursday group was toxic and she got carried away." He rubbed his face warily. "Some days I think about trying again for the children's sake. Other days I cannot imagine ever trusting her again." I nodded, understanding completely. "Jessica wants to talk, to explain. I have been avoiding it. You do not have kids, right?" "No, we were planning to start trying next year." The irony was not lost on me. Michael leaned forward. "Then my advice? Make a clean break? Without children in the equation, you can truly start fresh. That option is not really available to me." As our conversation continued, Michael shared more details about the Thursday Night Freedom Collective. It had indeed begun as a support group for women dealing with various life challenges. Over time, under the influence of a few key members including, apparently Jessica, it had transformed into something else entirely. Elaine says they rationalized it as self-care and reclaiming their independence. Michael explained. They convinced themselves they deserved this excitement, that their marriages were constraints they needed to escape from, while keeping all the benefits of those marriages. I added bitterly. "Exactly. They wanted the stability, the social status, the financial partnership, and the Thursday night freedom." Before we parted, Michael hesitated, then pulled out his phone. "There is something else you should know. After I contacted you, I worried you might think I was making it all up. So I had Elaine send me screenshots of the most recent group activity as proof." He paused. "There has been a lot of discussion about you in the past few weeks, about what you did." "Me?" I was genuinely surprised. "Your anniversary gift made quite an impression." Jessica shared the whole story with the group. Apparently, it sent shockwaves through their little community. Several women have left the group, afraid their husbands might be investigating too. He showed me his phone. There was a long post from Jessica detailing our confrontation, describing the scrapbook, lamenting the end of our marriage. The comments were a mix of sympathy for her and alarm from the others. OMG, Jess, I'm so sorry, but how did he find our group? This is terrifying. What if my husband is watching too? We need to shut this group down and start fresh somewhere else. I deleted all my posts just in case. Everyone should do the same. And then, most surprisingly, a few comments that took a different tone. Maybe this is the wake-up call we all needed. What are we doing to our marriages? I joined for fun and friendship, not to destroy families. I am out. Jessica, I'm sorry about your marriage, but we all knew the risks. This has gone too far. I handed the phone back to Michael, a strange sense of vindication washing over me. Your scrapbook did more than end your marriage, he said. It broke open their whole operation. The group is apparently dissolving in panic and recrimination. As I walked back to my car, I felt something shift inside me, not healing, not yet, but perhaps the beginning of closure. The truth was out, not just in my marriage but in this wider circle of deception. Actions had consequences. Reality had intruded on their Thursday night fantasy. When I returned home, there was a large envelope leaning against my front door. Inside was a handwritten letter from Jessica, along with her house key. Daniel, I know you do not want to hear from me right now, and I respect that. But before I lose all right to communicate with you, there are things you need to know. What I did was unforgivable. I betrayed not just our vows but the foundation of respect and honesty that made our marriage work for 12 years. There is no excuse that can justify my actions or the pain I have caused you. The Thursday group began innocently enough, just women talking, supporting each other through difficult times. I was still grieving Mom, feeling lost, and they offered understanding. But over time it changed. We started meeting at bars instead of homes. The conversations shifted from support to excitement, adventure, desires unfulfilled in our marriages. I should have walked away then. Instead, I let myself be pulled deeper. I enjoyed the attention, the thrill of secrecy, the escape from responsibility. I told myself it was harmless until it was not. The affair with Jason lasted 3 months. It meant nothing, which makes it worse, not better. I risked everything we built together for something hollow and meaningless. Your anniversary gift was the most devastating moment of my life, seeing my betrayal documented so thoroughly, realizing how completely I had shattered your trust. But it was also necessary. Without that moment, I might have continued living this double life, causing more damage. I have moved most of my things to a small apartment. The divorce papers arrived yesterday. I will not contest anything. You deserve every consideration after what I have done. I do not expect forgiveness. I do not even know if I deserve it. But I am in therapy now, trying to understand why I was capable of hurting the person I love most in the world. Because despite everything, I do love you, Daniel. That was never a lie, even when everything else was. If someday, when the pain has dulled, you want to talk about anything at all, I will be there. With deepest regret and love still, Jessica. I read the letter twice, then set it aside. The words were right, the sentiment seemed genuine, but they came too late. The trust was gone, and without trust, what remained? That evening, I received a text from an unknown number. This is Jason. I understand you know about me and Jessica. For what it's worth, it ended weeks ago. She talked about you constantly, even during the affair. She loves you. I was just an escape. If you're looking for someone to hate, hate me, not her. I deleted the message without responding. This was not about hate. It was about consequences. About rebuilding a life from the wreckage of betrayal. 2 days later, I finally agreed to meet Jessica. We chose neutral ground, a park bench overlooking the Charles River, where we had often walked during happier times. She looked different, thinner, her typically perfect hair pulled back carelessly, dark circles under her eyes visible despite her makeup. When she saw me approach, she straightened, a flash of hope crossing her face before she controlled her expression. "Thank you for meeting me," she said as I sat beside her, leaving appropriate distance between us. "You said you wanted to talk," I replied. "So talk." Jessica took a deep breath. "First, I want you to know I am not contesting the divorce. Whatever terms you and your lawyer propose, I will accept." I nodded. "Caroline will be in touch about the house. I would prefer to keep it, but I am prepared to buy out your share." "The house is yours," Jessica said quickly. "I do not want it. Too many memories." We sat in uncomfortable silence for a moment, watching a rowing team glide past on the river. "I got your letter," I finally said. "Did you read it?" "Yes." She waited for more, but I offered nothing. "Daniel," she began hesitantly, "is there any part of you that could ever forgive me?" "Not now, but someday. I need to know if there is even the slightest possibility." I considered the question seriously, as I had many times in recent weeks. "I do not know," I answered honestly. Right now, when I look at you, all I see are those Facebook posts. All I hear are your words mocking me, laughing about how clueless I was. all I feel is the humiliation of realizing our entire marriage might have been a lie. Jessica flinched but did not interrupt. Maybe someday that will fade, I continued. Maybe eventually I will remember the good years and believe they were real. But forgiveness, I cannot promise that. She nodded, tears spilling down her cheeks. I understand. I would not forgive me either. The Thursday group, I said, changing direction. Michael Kiernan told me it is falling apart. Jessica looked surprised at the mention of Michael's name but recovered quickly. Yes. After what happened with us after your scrapbook, everything imploded. Some women were terrified their husbands would discover them too. Others felt guilty seeing the real consequences. The rest just turned on each other, blaming and accusing. Good, I said simply. It is, she agreed, surprising me. What we were doing was destructive to ourselves, to our marriages, to people who trusted us. I see that now. Another silence fell between us, less tense than before. What will you do now? I asked, genuinely curious about her plans. I have taken a leave of absence from work. I am in therapy 3 times a week. My parents are. She paused, disappointed does not begin to cover it. My father can barely look at me. I felt a flicker of sympathy despite myself. Jessica's relationship with her father had always been important to her, and I am looking into volunteer work, she continued. At Mom's old hospice, trying to do something meaningful with my time instead of what I was doing. It sounded like a positive direction, though whether it was genuine or an attempt to appear reformed for my benefit, I could not tell. What about you? She asked softly. How are you really doing? I considered deflecting but decided on honesty. Some days are better than others. I am sleeping in the guest room, cannot bring myself to use our bedroom yet. Work has been understanding about my decreased productivity. Friends have been supportive. I am glad, she said sincerely. You deserve support. We talked a while longer about practical matters, about mutual friends, about the mechanics of untangling 12 years of shared life. It was the longest conversation we had had since our anniversary, and while painful it lacked the raw devastation of that day. As we prepared to part, Jessica hesitated, then reached into her bag. I have something for you. You do not have to take it. She handed me a small package wrapped in plain brown paper. What is this? I asked warily. Open it when you are ready, she said. Or throw it away. Your choice. I placed it in my pocket without opening it, and we said our goodbyes formal, like business associates concluding a difficult meeting. That night, alone in my house, our house, I finally opened Jessica's package. Inside was a USB drive and a note. I deleted my Facebook account, but before I did, I downloaded everything. All my posts, all my messages, everything. The complete record of my betrayal. I thought you should have it all, not just what you found. No more secrets. Jay. I plugged the doctor into my laptop, bracing myself for more pain. The files were meticulously organized by date, everything from January to present. There were hundreds of posts, messages, photos, the complete digital record of Jessica's double life. But there was also a video file dated 3 days ago. I clicked on it hesitantly. Jessica's face appeared on screen, sitting in what looked like her new apartment. Her eyes were red, her expression solemn. Daniel, she began, I do not know if you will ever watch this, but I need to say these things even if you never hear them. What I did to our marriage was unforgivable. The person I became in that group, posting those horrible things, betraying your trust, mocking your love, that person disgusts me now. Your anniversary gift was the most powerful thing anyone has ever done for me. Not because it hurt, though it did, terribly, but because it showed me exactly who I had become. You held up a mirror that I could not look away from. I do not expect another chance. I do not deserve one. But I want you to know that the 12 years before I destroyed everything were the best years of my life. That was the real me, not the Thursday night version. Whatever happens next, whether you find happiness alone or with someone worthy of your trust, I will always regret being the person who taught you to doubt love. You deserved so much better. The video ended, and I sat in silence, emotions warring within me, anger still dominant, but now tinged with something more complicated. Not forgiveness, not yet. Perhaps understanding, perhaps the first step toward whatever came next. 3 months later, our divorce was finalized. Jessica kept to her word, contesting nothing, asking for nothing beyond what was clearly hers before our marriage. We met one last time to sign the final papers, the moment oddly anticlimactic after months of emotional turbulence. So this is it, she said as we stood in the courthouse hallway. 12 years undone with a signature. Not undone, I corrected her, just ended. She nodded, accepting the distinction. I am moving to Chicago next month. My company has an office there. Fresh start. That sounds like a good idea, I said, meaning it. Distance would help us both. What about you? Will you stay in the house? For now, I replied. Maybe forever, maybe not. I have not decided. Jessica hesitated, then asked the question she had been holding back. Are you seeing anyone? No, I said simply. I'm not ready for that. I might not be for a long time. I understand. She smiled sadly. Trust is not something easily rebuilt once broken. We walked together to the parking lot, our last moments as a married couple ticking away. Daniel, she said as we reached her car, I know you may never forgive me. I have accepted that. But I want you to know that I am trying to become someone better than the person who hurt you. Someone worthy of forgiveness, even if it never comes. I really looked at her for the first time in months. The woman I had loved for 12 years. The woman who had betrayed me utterly. The woman now standing before me, neither villain nor victim but something more complex. I hope you find what you are looking for, Jessica, I said finally. I really do. She nodded, tears in her eyes but not falling. Goodbye, Daniel. Goodbye. I watched her drive away, feeling an unexpected lightness. Not happiness, not yet, but possibility. The scrapbook that had exposed her betrayal had also, inadvertently, freed me from the limbo of deception. The truth, however painful, had created space for whatever came next. That evening, I removed my wedding ring for the first time since our anniversary confrontation. I placed it in a small box alongside the watch Jessica had given me that day, tucking both away in a drawer not discarded, but no longer part of my daily life. Then I opened my laptop and began writing, not about betrayal or revenge, but about rebuilding, about learning to trust again, about the unexpected liberation that can follow devastating truth. It was time to write a new story, one where Thursday nights belonged to me again, and every other night as well. The healing would not be immediate or easy, but it had begun, and for now that was enough.